In today's world, we only watch the endings, a flashy success story or the brutal collapse. But we don't hear about the full journey that it took to get there. The late nights, tough calls, moments of doubt. On In Between Sips, we dive deep into the raw, unfiltered stories of what these business owners and leaders have been through and who they became along the way. So pull up a chair, pour a cup, and join us. We're just getting started. Because we all know the best conversations happen in between sips. Let's crack some nitro, Mike.
Let's do it. I've been waiting all day for this thing. You know how to pour these, Ryan?
I do.
Okay. All right.
There you go. Why Starbucks nitro?
It's convenient.
Really? I feel like I've brought in a bunch of nitro to you in your office.
Yeah,
And
Starbucks
you
is
always
good.
sniff it out. It was like, this isn't Starbucks.
No, because it's smooth. All the other stuff is bitter.
Yeah.
And Starbucks coffee is usually better, but the nitro's not.
Yeah. Always a nitro cold brew before your webinars.
Yes.
Been working together 5 years now.
5 years.
6
yeah.
or 5?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Ever since the flat in the parking lot.
Yeah, let's walk through that real quick. So we meet. We have a presentation. I'm giving you a business growth presentation on things that
From the heart
that you know. And before I go into the meeting, I hear my tire going flat. So even before the meeting kicks off, discovery meeting, I hear my tire going flat, and I just think to myself, well, that's a problem for future Ryan to solve. Because I got to go meet Mike.
Yeah.
This guy, Mike, that I've, been introduced to. Everybody loves. Who's this Mike Loverde? So we do the presentation. I think it goes well, right? His introduction goes well. And I'm sitting outside on the curb because my wife, who's a saint, had already called AAA for me. She's there waiting for them to come change the tire real quick. Like already had everything rolling. I'm sitting there on the curb with her. It's August.
It was hot.
It was very hot. And you walk by. I think to myself, just had a great meeting with Mike. And you walk by, what was it you said again? Because I think I forgot.
I said that flat tire better not show up on my first invoice.
Yeah.
Have a nice day.
Have a nice day. You just kept walking.
And I got my car with 4 tires that worked. And I drove away.
Gosh.
In the AC.
And ever since then,
Well, we're partners.
we're partners.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a
That
fun
was my
run.
way of telling you you're hired.
Yeah. I don't think I picked up on that right away because it was 120 out.
No.
But my wife and I were laughing pretty hard.
Well, you had your wife. She was jacking up the car. And
No, she was No, she was not. Gosh. Oh man. Oh gosh. So tell me, Chicago to Arizona. You grew up Illinois, right?
Yep, Chicago
Oh, boy.
area. Yep, right near O'Hare Airport.
Why come to Arizona?
The weather was probably the biggest thing. Taxes was another, property taxes, and politics was another thing. And
Politics. Hold on. There's been something that happened recently. I mean,
well, you just don't see it eye to eye.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you move out of Illinois.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we came here.
Has it always been that way?
In Illinois?
Yeah.
Growing up, you don't think anything of it. Once you get older and you get a job and you become an adult, you start to realize things.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when you're a kid, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you miss most about Chicago, though?
The food
Yeah.
and the summers.
Yeah.
I mean, the summers are great.
Yeah.
Before we had kids, we snowbirded, and it was the greatest thing you could do. I mean, 8 months here or 7 months here and 4 or 5 months there was great. I mean, the summers are great. My family's still there. The food, the familiarity. I mean, even when I still land back at O'Hare, I mean, you just have this home feeling. I lived there for 48 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man. What Family First Intervention's been around since?
It started in 08.
08.
I incorporated in March of 2009.
Yeah. So what was that transition like? So you moved to Arizona for that, or
No.
Walk me through
I ran Family First Intervention out of the Chicago suburbs up until 2020 when we moved here. How it got started is I worked for another intervention company.
Yeah.
We didn't see eye to eye on some things, and I moved on, and I started Family First Intervention. I threw together a website.
Hold on, you made a website?
Yeah, I mean, I
Nice.
didn't make it myself. Brian Fry did it,
Yeah.
but I mean, I obviously told him what I wanted.
Yeah.
And then I did throw together the PPC campaign,
Yeah.
just knowing nothing. And I,
Well, you know the content though. I mean, that's always been.
well,
the
yeah,
key.
I've always been, that's always been my thing,
Yeah.
the content.
Yeah.
And then, I did 4 interventions the first week.
Wow.
Yeah.
How big was the team when you first started? Just you?
Just me. Yeah.
So you answering phones?
Answering phones and doing the interventions, doing it all.
What was that like?
It was fun. I didn't have any kids and I was young.
Yeah. Man.
Yeah. No, it was great. I enjoyed it.
Wow. What did you think you'd get involved in some of the crazy situations that came up early on? Like, what were some of the things that came up young into the business? I mean, you came from a successful intervention company, right?
I mean, you can call it successful, but it wasn't successful other than it had one national treatment chain that sent them business. And if that ever stopped, they were nothing.
Okay.
They had no internet presence, nothing. I mean, it was like if they ever decided they were going to stop sending business there, it would be a ghost town overnight.
Yeah.
And that's why I left, because I'm like, I'm not going to rely on treatment centers. I'm going to generate my own referrals through the internet.
Yeah.
Stories, I mean, there's no end to them.
Yeah.
But the hardest part is not, the person on drugs or alcohol, it's their families.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What made you so confident that the online business was there? I mean, this was early on. This was before a big boom of online, right? I mean, you kind of hit the wave before there was some mass adoption.
Listen, I think everything comes from the internet at some level. And I never believed in the whole BD rep thing.
Yeah.
Even though some people swear by it. And I just wanted to be in control of my own destiny.
Yeah.
And of course, you're not in control of your own destiny even on the internet, because obviously at the end of the day, search engines determine where you're at. But yeah,
How much do you love Google?
Well, obviously I love it.
Your favorite's Facebook, right?
No, I can't stand any social media. I think it's ridiculous, and I think it's the end of times for us. Everybody on there's a liar and painting a picture that isn't true.
Yeah.
For the most part. That's an absolute, but no, I don't have any social media. Zero.
Well, I mean, you do.
Well, I don't have it. The business does, and my wife manages it, and I want nothing to do with it.
We post.
Yeah, you do, and I don't.
It's good, yeah.
Yeah, no, social media sucks.
Yeah. If you had to pick what platform would you adopt?
None.
No, you have to.
I can't pick
I'm
one.
going to take your nitro
I don't know
away.
anything about them.
You got to pick. Just pick.
People send me funny stuff on Instagram.
Yeah.
So I watch that sometimes. So I would go with Instagram, whatever the hell that is.
Just because it's the funny stuff.
Yeah, and half the time I can't open it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, Instagram.
Man. Oh, my gosh. Oh, so there you are answering phones by yourself.
Yes.
Starting the biz.
Correct.
Illinois, Chicago.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
What was that transition like, though? I mean, you're trying to put some horsepower behind it. When did you think, hey, I could probably help 20 to 30 people a month, or ramp it up, or like
as soon as the phone started
like
ringing, because I was experienced in what I did, I didn't have a problem with what I could do.
Mm-hmm.
I had to make sure that I had the business to do it.
Yeah.
And, back then PPC was way different.
Yeah.
And, anybody could throw together a campaign or two, and I just got the phone ringing. And then I started to learn about negative keywords and, I started to kind of get good at it, determining, I don't know. I started dialing it in.
Can anybody still run it, in your opinion? Like, hey.
Well, it was never better than when I did it.
Of course.
But no, I don't even look at it. It's completely different today with legit script and all that. But I don't even mess with it. And even now, it's like back then, I remember I even had a guy audit it, and it's like I was spending tens of thousands of dollars on keywords that just did nothing. And today, like you guys have it dialed into just 2 campaigns.
Yeah.
And they produce.
Yeah.
So I mean, PPC is great, but you got to be careful. You're not just throwing money out the window.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
You got to dial it in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what's that moment look like as you want to grow the business? I mean, you're not married, right? When did
Not
you get
at the
married?
time, no.
When did you get married?
2016.
So how many years into the business?
Well, that would be 7, Ryan.
So, okay. Fast math.
Yeah. I haven't had enough sips of that yet, but yes, it sounds like 7. Yeah. We had kids. We lived in sin for 18 months.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Yeah, we had kids before we got married. I never wanted kids, by the way.
Yeah.
And then my wife got pregnant.
Yep.
There was 2 of them in there.
Twins.
And they were girls.
Yep.
Yeah. I remember that day.
Was that in Illinois still?
We were snowbirding at the time, yes.
Okay, so you're still back there.
Yeah, we were back there. And then we had the place here, we had the place there. And yeah.
What'd your wife, Lisa, think about the move, though? When did you guys like
You know,
really
it's funny.
commit?
It was January 6th of 2019. And it was a great day that day, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we were driving down, we were doing something. We're out here for business.
Yeah.
And it was 74 degrees on January 6th.
Yeah. On January 6th.
It was January 6th. I remember the day clearly. And we were just driving, and it was like probably, I don't know, 2 back in Chicago.
Yeah.
And she just said, why do we live there? And I said, I don't know. She said, let's move.
Was it for the food? That kept you there that whole time?
Well, it was just that I was born and raised there.
Yeah.
You know, and she had lived in South Florida, and, you know, she was married at the time, and they moved up here. Her husband was an airline pilot.
Yeah.
So this is just where we lived.
Yeah.
You know, it's like when that's all you know, that's all you know. I mean, listen, I wouldn't change my childhood. Like if I could redo everything, I'd still want to grow up there. Like it was the greatest experience. I think it made me who I am.
Yeah.
But it's just different now. And and she just said, let's do it. And then finished graduate school because I went back to school for addiction studies and counseling. And she went back and got her undergrad and is a certified alcohol and drug counselor.
Yeah.
We put the house on the market. We got a full price offer in 4 days.
Wow.
And we
People
actually
were itching to live there, huh?
In Illinois.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah, but no, they were. But it was during COVID, right? I mean, but you know, it was before prices went up. And it's just then we had to rent our own house back for a month.
Yeah.
We have a funny story there, but
yeah. Tell me. I mean,
so,
not only did you invade Arizona January 6th, right? But now you have a story. I'm just kidding.
Well, no, it was interesting because we lived in our house for 11 years.
Yeah.
And it was Memorial Day weekend, and we moved out here the day after Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
And a huge storm ripped through. Now, mind you, I'm renting this house that I owned, but it's still mine in my head, right?
Yeah.
And this humongous tree falls and lands on the house. And I immediately grabbed the phone to call the place. And Lisa goes, what are you doing? I says, I'm calling the tree people. She goes, it's not your house. So I called the homeowner. I said, hey, you got a problem.
Yeah.
And I told him, and well, he had to pay for it.
He had to be.
Yeah, it was great. So renting isn't horrible. I can tell you from that experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had you ever had any problems like that before?
No.
So as soon as you left,
I had an idea that tree may come down one day. I mean, it was healthy, but
just kind of put a pin in it, save it for later.
Yeah, when it got windy, I wasn't shocked, but yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But I liked the tree, so I didn't take it down.
Yeah. So now you're in Arizona. How old are the daughters?
They're going to be 10 in July.
No, back
then,
when you
they
moved.
were 4.
4. Okay.
Yeah, they were 4. They were going to be 5 that July, but they were technically 4.
So move them across. Grow the biz.
Yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys always settle in North Phoenix for the business location? Is that always
I
been
wanted
the
to be in
address?
Scottsdale, but you know, most of the people that we had, they were all over the valley. So that was kind of like the central location.
Yeah.
Just made it convenient for everybody.
You should look at the Northwest Valley. I mean,
it's not going to happen.
So you settled down in there. How many, was it just you and her then at the time?
No. At the time we were expanding.
Yeah.
And it was me and Lisa, and we had about 4 other people at the time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then it just grew from
You just started cranking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just built out the aftercare piece and added the phone team.
Yeah. What made you want to get into all of this though? Like, is it something you just kind of fell into? Is it?
I read about it in a newspaper.
You must have been quite the newspaper.
Yeah, no, this process helped my family back in 2005.
Yeah.
And I had my degree in finance. I worked for a phone company on site at a Big 5 accounting firm.
And finance?
I have a degree in finance.
I didn't know you're so passionate about finance.
I'm not.
You're not. You just.
No, I was 21 and needed to pick a major.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you did.
Yeah, I went with everyone's like business. It's universal.
Yeah.
And I liked finance. I liked investments.
Yeah.
I liked stock market stuff. So I went with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I squeaked by.
And then you just.
Yeah, and I did that for a while, and then it's not fun.
Yeah.
There's nothing sexy about finance or accounting. I mean, unless you're making millions.
Nothing fun happened at all.
Well, I'm sure something happened. I don't remember. things were different back then.
Oh, they were?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Memory's a little foggy.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, from back then. Yeah. I was young.
Okay. So then you're going through there and like, what's that moment? You're like, man, I see this market I want to get involved in. I want to work. Like, what does that look like?
Well, after the intervention was involved in my family,
Yeah.
I just got interested in it.
Yeah.
You know, and I actually worked for the place that intervened on our family.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And they were a one-man operation.
Yeah.
Well, actually two, but the one brother couldn't stop smoking crack, so it was one.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy said, don't quit your day job. You know, we do about one intervention every 3 months. And then I'll never forget, he gave me a phone. It was one of those, it was like a high-end Motorola Windows phone. And it had
did it look like a flip phone? Was it a brick?
It was
like,
big, man. It was like a mini brick.
It had like a brick.
Yeah, and it had a rubber band holding the mouthpiece on, and it still had the brother's black crack fingerprints on it. I'm not even making this up. Like, this is a true story.
Wow.
And I said, what do you do? And then my training was answer the phone.
Just answer.
That was my training.
Yeah.
And I got a call from a woman who works for us now. She just started with us, and she gave me a lead.
Yeah.
And within 6 months, we were a huge operation.
Did you ever clean off that fingerprint or no? You just
I don't remember.
left it on there?
I think I got my own phone.
Did you?
Yeah. Yeah. Because there was people calling and
all the time. Yeah.
it wasn't good.
Yeah.
Yeah, his connections.
Oh.
But anyway, and then that lady that gave me the referral, she worked for a huge network of treatment centers.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I started closing leads for her, and word spread.
Mm-hmm.
And then every single treatment center in that entire network started referring to us. We were doing like 50 to 60 interventions a month. We went from one intervention. Those brothers went from one intervention every 3 months to 40, 50, and 60 interventions a month within 6 months. We had a huge office. It was staffed with people. Yeah, I blew the place up.
Wow.
I mean, obviously I give them credit too. They had the infrastructure. I mean, I worked off a pool table in their living room. Wasn't a lot of infrastructure with a crack fingerprint for cell phone. But they had something. And that's what we did. Yeah.
Did you ever find yourself in those moments though, after you started Family First and you're looking to grow and you look back on some of those moments where you're like, man, I can't believe we made it through that? Because working off of a pool table on the phone. Like,
no, we moved into an office shortly after the place blew up.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I loved what I learned.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of things that needed to be done differently.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't know what the hell they were doing. And quite honestly, I didn't either.
Yeah.
You know, and it was kind of just learn as you go.
Well, I mean, you can't really game plan for all the different scenarios. It
just grew too fast to be able to, figure it out the right way.
Yeah.
But we managed and we did well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're in Arizona, growing the biz. You and Lisa on the same page with everything. I mean, did things come up that was like, I can't believe we're going through this as a business? I mean, you're looking to scale up. Like, what are some of those moments you look back on and you're like, man, I can't believe we made it through that?
Well, COVID.
How so?
Well, it's interesting because when COVID hit, I remember it was March of 2020.
Yeah.
And we had 26 interventions already done for the month in the second week of March. Like, we were killing it.
Yeah.
And then I think it was like the 19th, they shut everything down.
Yeah.
And our phones rang, but nobody wanted us there.
Because you had to be in person to do an intervention.
Correct. And it took about 3 weeks. And our phones exploded and we never looked back. And it was like when the lockdowns came and everybody was home with the drug addict and the alcoholic, they're like, I don't give a shit about COVID.
Yeah.
Get him out of here.
Yeah.
Like, I'm on the front lines now.
It almost like expedited the business.
It exploded.
Wow.
You know?
Man.
Yeah. And it was like April 12th. I remember we went back out for the first time and it just, get this person out of my house.
Wow.
Yeah.
So COVID hits, business explodes. Don't look back.
No.
Man, what a wild time COVID was, by the way.
It was. And then, of course, with your help and the internet and all that stuff, too.
Yeah.
Made a big difference.
Well, I appreciate hearing that.
Yeah.
I don't think we hear that enough. Jeez, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I mean, the content's what does it, but...
Yeah, I mean, content is king.
It's a collaborative effort for sure.
What was that experience like, though? I mean, coming through COVID, like, I mean, that whole time to be an interventionist where you got to go visit in person, like, I mean, you're there, you had to visit in person, not able to, things are shut down. I know you said business blew up, but I mean, a lot of states still had everything shut down.
Depending on the state.
Yeah.
Most families didn't care.
Yeah.
Because we got in the summer, a lot of the interventions were held in the backyard.
No way.
Yeah, families would do it outside, but most of them didn't care. Like, honestly, COVID, I was unaffected.
Yeah.
Like, I ran the business like I didn't buy in all that bullshit.
Yeah.
We ran it. But
you got people to help, right? I mean, these are people.
Yeah, but even at the office, it's like, people walking with masks. I'm like, yeah, you don't have to wear that.
Yeah.
And nobody did. We just ran it. And even our girls, like in school, we were lucky because we redid preschool with them because they shut it down in Illinois. And I think things were closed here, but with their preschool, it was licensed as daycare. So they were allowed to be open and they didn't require a mask for the kids. So I don't know, like COVID, I was unaffected.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't buy into the hype and I just continued my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do political swings and cycles ever affect your business? Like, did you notice a difference between different political climates or cultures, shifts, things like that?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because I mean, for all intents and purposes, a lot of businesses that had business services, like that was a tough year.
It was.
I mean,
it was for a lot of people.
That was a tough year to like wade through all that. And you had companies like yours where you're like, hey, we got to help people.
That's
like,
right.
People are literally on their deathbed potentially.
Well, I mean, it's like hospitals, police stations, they don't shut down. And what we do, it's like addiction and mental health doesn't take a break because of COVID.
Yeah. That was a wild time.
It was, but we got through it pretty easily.
Yeah.
But I didn't shut down and we're the only cars in the parking lot. Like we got shit to do.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when I got here in May of 2020, I mean, it was different here. Like Illinois, like you guys don't know what lockdowns here are.
Really?
No.
Arizona was that much different?
The worst of your lockdowns was like J.B. Pritzker's phase 3. Okay?
Okay.
Like it was locked down.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Like tumbleweeds locked down. Yeah.
Whole city of Chicago.
Yeah. And the suburbs. Yeah. It was locked down.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's the Wild West out here, right? I'm just kidding.
I don't know if it's the Wild West, but it was just certainly different.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yeah.
There were some restrictions and mandates, but
yeah,
this was the place to be. That's when I knew the move was the right thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. People here just think different.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So you come through COVID, business is going well, maintaining well, all that good jazz.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you guys up to right now in terms of interventions a month and things like that?
We got to find good phone people. The hardest part about this job is phone people. Like our entire infrastructure and our internet presence, thanks to you guys, obviously, is on point.
Thanks.
I'm humbled in saying we are the largest intervention company in the country.
Yeah.
But you got to have competent people to answer the phones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that struggle been like? I mean, I know we've been partnered up for 5 years. I've seen different types of teams come and go. I mean, scenarios, things like that. But I mean, what's the volatility like in finding the right people and hanging on to them?
It's just a struggle.
Yeah.
It's just because it's such a delicate yet intelligent yet difficult thing to do, to bring a family to the point of intervening.
Like, why is it though? What scenarios are you guys having to go through? Like, I know
dysfunctional families.
Yeah.
You got, getting one person on drugs to treatment is easy. Yeah. It's not easy, but in comparison to getting 5 to 10 family members on the same page to let us do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Families are dysfunctional.
What's some of the things you like think back on? You're like, I can't believe like we went through this situation.
Like what?
Like what's a scenario that you had to work through with the team to try to get a family in intervention?
I think the most amazing thing is families always ask me on the phone, what if they say no? I've never once had a family say, Mike, what if they say yes?
Yeah.
Never. Yeah. And what's so amazing is when we do the interventions, the families whose loved ones say yes, they're the ones that go berserk.
Yeah.
Because they cannot deal with the silence.
Yeah.
So, and I always tell people, if you ever want to know why a family doesn't do an intervention, come to my office and watch how they act after they do. So again, it just goes back, without getting into details, families are the hardest part.
Yeah.
it's interesting. We'll take 6 weeks to schedule an intervention. My interventionist will text, starting the intervention, 53 minutes later, headed to the airport. It took me 6 weeks to get you to do this, and it took 53 minutes to get your loved one on a plane.
Wow.
If that doesn't put it into perspective.
Yeah.
We spend 90% of our time with the family because they're so difficult.
Yeah.
And they don't see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
It's fun.
Well, you're no stranger to the situations you've been a part of, though, huh?
No.
It's never a dull day.
No, it's never a dull day.
Whether you're at a barbershop or...
No, well, a barbershop. Yeah, no, that was an intervention. Kind of, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What happened?
I was eating with a buddy of mine.
Yeah.
Funny transition, because I had to intervene here. I had to come back to my old skills. And he, after we got done eating, he goes to this barbershop next door.
Yeah.
And he goes in there, and I was sitting there, and I heard him talking to one of the ladies that works there, and he had these Louis Vuitton, I think they're called millionaire sunglasses. Yeah. They're quite expensive. They're like $1,100. They in there are nice looking.
Oh, yeah.
And he took them off, and he said to the lady, if these look good on you, you can have them. Now, keep in mind, this guy, he steps on the rakes 90 times a day. Yeah. He can't keep himself from saying something stupid. But at the same time, I actually took a call I had to take. It was from a dysfunctional family I probably had to spend another hour with to convince to save their loved one.
Yeah.
Did that come out loud?
Yeah.
And I'm on the phone, and I hang up, and he comes out like the donkey on Eeyore, like, and I said, what's wrong? He's like, she took my glasses. I said, what do you mean? She's like, she won't give them back. And I'm like, go get your glasses. Yeah. He's like, she won't give them to me. I said, John, go get your glasses.
Yeah.
So he goes back in there, and he comes back out. He's like, she won't give them to me. So I go in there, and, let's just call it what it is. This is a Russian barbershop.
Yeah.
And everybody in there,
which are the best, right?
Well, the absolute.
I don't know
best.
what that's like, apparently, but yeah.
They do well. I don't think you go there.
No,
they may do buffs.
Yeah,
but so I go back in there, and I ask the lady for his glasses, and she's not giving his glasses back, and she just is like, no.
Yeah.
So it's getting kind of weird.
Yeah.
So
for you to say it gets weird,
it's getting kind of weird.
Must have been pretty weird.
So he comes back out, and then he calls his wife, and she obviously is irate.
Yeah.
And I go back in there, and she's sitting on the chair, and there's 4 other people in there.
Yeah.
And I walk back in. I'm like, I'm going to need the glasses. And these 2 guys start walking. It was the first time in my life I thought I was going to have to use Krav Maga. Like, I literally played in my head taking these, like, that's how, like, it was getting scary. Like, they're coming, like, they're like walking up, like, what's the problem?
You've been doing Krav Maga at this point for like 2 days or what?
No, like 2.5 years.
Good.
And like, I'm just thinking, like, I thought I was going to have, like, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Because, like, all of a sudden these Russians are coming, like, they're popping out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And I go up to her, and I'm like, give me the glasses.
Yeah.
And she goes, you're not getting the glasses. And I leaned forward, and I looked back at them, and they weren't coming any closer. And I said, give me the fucking glasses. And she looks at me, and I was ready to snatch them off her face, but I'm like, I may break these $1,100 glasses.
Yeah, then you'll have another issue to deal with.
And then the lady behind the counter just goes, will you just give him the glasses? And she just goes like this really slow, and I grabbed them.
Yeah. And
I walked out, and then his wife pulls up.
Oh, gosh.
And I'm like, I got it.
Yeah.
I got it. And then I go out there, I'm like, John, here's your glasses.
Wow.
And then I said, as a matter of fact, I'm keeping them now. But I gave him back the glasses. But it was the first time in my life where I was nervous. Wow. Like I thought these guys, like, I thought there was going to be a fight. I thought I was taking on these Russian people.
You've been training for other types of interventions your whole life.
Yes.
And this was the first physical.
This is going to be the first physical one. Although I did have a gun pulled on me in Houston.
What?
Oh yeah. Real life story. Yeah.
Let's back this up.
We'll get there.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what you know. When the guy's 25 feet away with a Glock pointing at you with a laser, anyway. But to finish that eyeglass story, it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, I'm in this Russian barbershop, having to get physical with these guys.
Yeah.
Over a stupid pair of glasses.
Yeah.
Because he can't keep his mouth shut.
It's crazy.
It was stupid. So that's not the first story, but there's many.
Okay, let's go back to this Houston.
I was in intervention in Houston, and the guy walked in, and he exhaled a big cloud of smoke out as he walked in. and it was meth.
Was he the one you were doing the intervention on?
Yes.
Okay.
And I remember we were reading the letters, and I can hear his teeth grinding as we were reading the letters. And he was sweating like P. Diddy headed to court. Okay. I mean, just sweating, right? And
such a time.
And I mean, literally.
Yeah.
And his eyes were like the Looney Tunes, you know, just. Yeah. And he just jumped up. Yeah. I remember he walked straight up his stairs, and I heard something. And I wasn't a gun guy at the time.
Yeah.
And he just comes out, and there was this catwalk, and he points the gun down, and he's flashing around this red laser, and he's like, I'm going to give you guys about 3 seconds. We ran out of the house. And I said to the family, this is how sick families are.
Yeah.
We need to call the police. They're like, no. I don't want him to get arrested. And I said, take me to the airport.
What?
And anyway, we ended up beating. The guy actually went to treatment 3 weeks later, though.
Wow.
He actually did. But he was so jacked out of his mind, he pulled a gun on us. Mm-hmm.
Never a shortage with you. Situations you've been involved in.
I got stories from then to the end of time.
Well, let's go, baby. Well, come on.
We started this late, so I'm going to have to leave soon. But
yeah. Man, was that one of the defining moments, though? Like, you're an interventionist, and you're like, this is nuts.
Like,
I had never had question what you did.
I had never had a gun pointed at me before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, it doesn't feel good.
Did it make you question what you got involved in, though? Like,
no.
Is this the wrong path?
No. He was a meth addict.
Yeah.
He was a meth addict. I mean, I don't think he was going to shoot us, but no, you don't run from that.
Yeah.
You know, interventionists are like firemen. Everyone's running away. We're running in. Like, you know, I mean, I went home, took another job, went back out.
I love it.
You know, there's nothing to it, you know? And like I said, the guy went to treatment 3 weeks later.
Yeah.
You know, because the family did follow directions.
Yeah.
And held boundaries and held him accountable. But yeah.
Was there ever a moment, though, where you were going through a situation? I mean, I know it's like a everyday thing for you, but was
never with the addict or the alcoholic, always with the families. If I ever got to a point in my career where I was like, you know, I'm done with this, it was because the families drove you nuts. I'm just going to be brutally honest. And if any family ever reads this, I'll say, they drove me nuts.
But why is that, though? Is there,
because they're sick.
What's the dichotomy between
enabling codependency, a whole family of origin of dysfunction, family systems theory? Like, we don't have enough time to discuss what their problem is.
Yeah.
Their dysfunctional family roles, the martyr, the enabler, the hero, like, they just all come together to sabotage the success of the substance user.
Yeah.
And they don't even see it. You know, pigs don't know pigs stink. And I don't mean that derogatory towards the families, but they're just like, huh? Me?
It's like the veil is.
It's ridiculous. And it's like, they're just got to a point where like, I am just so sick and tired of convincing these families to the point of being a salesman to save your damn kid's life.
Yeah.
And it hasn't changed.
Even through all the different
even
cultural shift, political shifts.
No,
have you seen the epidemic grow worse, though, over the years? Or is it just the addiction use, the, people that are addicts, alcohol, drugs, like, is it the same influx that you keep seeing? Is it just a different vice, or is it increasing over the years?
Your biggest, of course, is meth and fentanyl, and alcohol has always been a staple. But I think the biggest one that would shock people is marijuana. Now, I never had an opinion on legalized marijuana. I don't smoke it. I never did smoke it. I don't like it. I mean, I tried it. I think marijuana sucks.
Yeah.
I think it sucks. You know what I mean? Like, who wants to sit around and eat all day and then get paranoid every time you hear a noise? Like, it's stupid. Okay? It's fucking stupid. Is
there a story that goes with that? It's a pretty specific example you gave.
I tried smoking, and it just sucks. Yeah. People are like, oh, it sucks. My hats are off to you. If you want to be around, lay around and just do nothing all day eating Domino's pizza and just think that's cool, you should do that.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. Go get, congratulations on your career.
Yeah.
But anyway, the weed we smoked as kids, it was low THC content.
Yeah.
In the last, I don't know, however many years, the amount of interventions I get for marijuana is astonishing. In the psychosis cases are like methamphetamines because the THC content of legalized marijuana is unbelievably high.
Really?
So it's unbelievable. Like people, they got mental illness. They're just smoking pot. And it's like, did they have mental illness before they smoked pot? No.
Well,
let me see. 1 + 1 = 2. Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
But they want to believe it's mental illness because it's easier pill to digest. But it's astonishing of how powerful marijuana is today on the legal level.
Yeah.
You know, in the gummies.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just, I mean, if there's even the slightest underlying mental health disorder, or even not, I mean, people are becoming psychotic on pot.
Yeah.
Keep smoking.
No.
It sucked back then and it sucks today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pot's stupid.
Mike Loverde's PSA.
Yeah. Marijuana is just dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. So that's my marijuana story.
There you go.
Yeah.
What's the future look like for you, family first? What's the next, few years look like?
Retirement.
I mean, really? Been through enough scenarios?
After 20 years of doing this, I love it. I mean, listen, there's nothing in the world I'd rather do.
Yeah.
And I'll do this until I do retire. But at some point, I'd like to,
Just thinking about it.
pass the torch.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it won't be families, or it won't be substance users that drive me out.
Yeah.
It'll be the families. I'm just gonna be brutally honest. Yeah. Cause they're I get the science. I have the education. I get the whole thing.
Yeah.
But man, how unbelievably unwell they are.
Yeah.
And then of course you have phone people.
Well, they have a lot of questions. I mean, I know when we first started doing the webinar, few years ago, I think like 2 people showed up to the first one. I was like, okay, how do we get people engaging, right? And I remember you made a joke because it was like the first couple webinars we, pitched this idea. Hey, Mike, you should get on camera and answer some questions and, do some presentations about these topics because it's rich content.
Yeah.
And I think the first couple was like, 5 or 10 people. You're like, so Ryan, how are we going to get this out there?
But you use social media to market it.
Yeah. Among other things.
Yeah.
But, it's that consistency of them recognizing you as the authority, right? And I even saw a lot of the questions coming in, like the Q&A after. I mean, people want to know, but I guess that's what you're talking about is that switch of, okay, they're not afraid to ask the questions, but then when comes time to take action for their family member or loved one, that's the hard part, right?
Yeah, and then it's like after 20 years, I mean, even the questions they ask are bullshit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're codependent, enabling, do nothing questions wrapped up in a pretty bow.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't say it's bullshit because I'm being mean because they don't know they're doing it.
Yeah.
So on an empathetic level, I have to help them but the second you help them see that, you're a salesman.
Yeah.
Like you can't win.
Yeah, and that's hard to do because like now the webinars, you get a couple hundred people on, right? And you're answering questions for 45 minutes, right?
Yeah.
And so
but the people at the webinars are at a different stage.
They're ready to receive the information.
Yeah, they're yes, and they're seeing their dysfunction.
Yeah.
They're seeing their role.
Yeah.
They're seeing their need to do something different.
Yeah.
They see how their changes can make a huge impact on their loved one's outcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
I mean, like just before I got here, when I was on the phone, when you guys told me that I couldn't have my phone,
well, I mean,
I was texting with an aunt,
yeah,
whose 34-year-old alcoholic son with no job is living at his parents' house, waking up, drinking all day. As soon as he can get to a bar or a restaurant that's open, he does. And then at the end of the day, the mom runs to get him. She won't even get on the phone with me. She won't even get on the phone with me. I'd have that guy in treatment in 20 minutes if we showed up.
Yeah.
She won't let us do it. She won't even get on the phone with me.
Well, I don't think the industry does you any favors because you've told me there's only like a few actual treatment centers that you would trust. So I'm sure we have this problem out there, right? And not many treatment centers or intervention companies are actually addressing
Treatment centers are horrible.
Yeah.
Almost every one of them is horrible.
How so?
Because they're all, it's not managed care, it's managed costs. Treatment, when I first started, was so much different than it is today.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, today everything's getting bought up by private equity firms. They got multiple campuses. They got these streamlined curriculums. How does that make you feel? Therapists.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the biggest problem in these treatment centers are the therapists.
Yeah.
Like marijuana, they suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, even locally here in Arizona, we saw treatment centers come and go all the time, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, in Arizona and Florida, it's because they were committing fraud. But I mean, you know,
hold on. Let's back that up. Walk me through that.
No, because I watch the news.
No, okay.
And you know, I get the news feeds. But all kidding aside, the biggest problem with treatment centers is, in fact, the private equity firms buying them up and the misinformed, far left thinking of the therapists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not actually looking to address the core issue and not willing to dig in, do the hard work. What is it?
Challenging the client.
Okay.
You know, I mean, I went to the same schools they did.
Yeah.
And, you know, they actually believe that the client is the most qualified person to know what it is they need. Yeah.
Aren't they the ones struggling with the substance?
Thank you, Ryan. I'm glad you got it.
Well, I mean,
They don't.
I guess in 5.5 years, I've learned something from you, right?
I actually was going to change the logo on some of those websites to Tony the Tiger.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why. Because these therapists would call me up. Hey, so-and-so's doing great. He's been there 4 days.
Oh, yeah.
And you're calling the family saying he's doing great.
Hmm.
He's not even out of detox.
Yeah.
And then the family's like, oh, he can come home. Therapist. I mean, it's very, very, very challenging to come across a therapist with some oomph to him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? The training, the curriculum?
Well,
is it
it's the books.
Is it culture nowadays?
It's the universities.
Because you've been in this, 20 years now? It's like, have you seen that shift though?
Yeah.
Was there ever that tenacity early on in your career where people, has it been the education? Has it been a cultural shift? What is it?
It's probably everything. I mean, most universities teach far left bullshit.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was fortunate enough to have worked in this industry for a long time and saw how it really worked. So when I went to graduate school, I can see what they were teaching me was really bad.
Yeah.
Because most of what I learned doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's not effective. But you take the tests.
Yeah.
You know, I got straight A's. I was the guest speaker at the commencement. I did pretty well. But
You're the guest speaker?
I was.
Oh.
Yeah, they asked me to speak, yeah.
Give them the Mike Loverde words of wisdom?
I kept it politically correct.
Yeah.
Because most of the people listening wouldn't have liked my ideas.
Yeah.
Or my thoughts. But nevertheless,
Yeah.
I didn't believe with most of the stuff I was taught. Because, and it's not even my political views.
Yeah.
Take that off the table. It's what I saw work and fail in the space.
Yeah.
And what they're teaching us in those schools fails.
Yeah.
And what we used to do worked. And that's what we do.
Kind of a throwback, if you will.
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
It's not even a throwback. It's just, you got to hold people accountable. You can't be afraid to challenge people.
Yeah.
You know, you can't be afraid to call somebody out.
Yeah.
And I don't mean like some tough guy way, but I mean, if an addict or an alcoholic or somebody's doing something that's not effective, how does that make you feel?
Yeah,
It's not the approach. It's not the approach. Shut up.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we've made some progress today.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Oh, man.
Stupid.
Yeah.
Well, that'll be $150.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Or I can bill your insurance.
That's a whole nother issue. You've stayed away from the insurance game because
I don't go near it.
Because they try to dictate what programs you do.
No, insurance? No way.
Well, no, they probably will try to if you took insurance, right? If you went down that road,
I
right?
won't do it, yes, but that's exactly what will happen.
So it's all cash.
All
you
cash.
guys do, yeah.
I mean, not cash, but yes, it's self-pay, yeah. You know, and the other thing too is most of our clients don't have jobs, right? And they, they end up having to self-pay for treatment anyway. And our interventions are very affordable, and that wouldn't be covered by insurance even if I took it.
Yeah.
But there are some treatment centers out there that we do work with that do work with insurance, and they don't have the how does it make you feel counselor.
Correct. Yeah.
And they hold people accountable.
Yeah.
And we work with them.
Yeah.
And they're long term.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like I said, it's a lot has changed in this industry, but it's like that in healthcare, right? I mean, think about healthcare, how it used to be.
Yeah. I mean, you went through your bout, right? Most recently, kind of working through.
Oh, with the valley fever.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And kind of experiencing what that's like.
It's not fun.
Yeah.
No, I had valley fever. I remember when I moved here, I'm like, valley fever? Who gets valley fever?
Yeah. It's an Arizona thing.
It's so funny. Everybody like that knows I've had valley fever. They're like, you're the only guy I know that's had it. Like I'm the guy.
But it's like such a local Arizona
I'm the valley
thing.
fever guy now.
Yeah. It's probably because, I mean, we knew you're from Illinois, so we went after you.
Yeah. You know what? I wouldn't have got it if I would have stayed there.
Yeah.
But what's
you
so
may have gotten a few other things,
but listen to me. I will take valley fever over that weather, those politics, and those taxes any day. Bring it on. I'll go another round of that shit.
Yeah. No, I just thought it was interesting, right? When you were going through it, we were like just talking back and forth around like different treatment plans and how the hospital was and whatnot. Ivermectin versus not, right?
Oh,
like all those things, right? Because you took it, right?
The ivermectin?
Yeah.
Of course I did.
And
that's when I started getting better.
Yeah, interesting.
Yes.
Yeah. Man.
I remember one of the guys came into the room. He's like, "What pill did you just take?" I'm like, "My vitamins."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you just said, okay.
He didn't ask any more questions.
That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, no, I had ivermectin
Yeah.
from COVID, which I had 3 times with no symptoms. Actually, the one I got in Costa Rica had some symptoms. The Costa Rican COVID was a little different.
How is that different? What do you mean?
I got pretty ill for a day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but other than that, the other 2, I was asymptomatic. Everybody in the whole house got it, and we tested positive. But yeah, so I had a whole bottle of ivermectin, and when I got to the hospital, I remember I was like, I'm not getting better, and and I don't know if it's a coincidence or not, but I started taking the ivermectin, and I started getting better, and you hear valley fever stories of how people have it for 3, 4, and 5 months. I mean, I'm 6 weeks out yesterday, and my oxygen's 99. I'm back to all of my activities, the gym,
Krav Maga,
gym. You know what I mean? Yeah. No, I haven't skipped a beat. 6 weeks out, which the doctor's like, you're going to be down for about 4 months.
Yeah.
And I took a whole course of ivermectin. Now, of course, I took the fluconazole antifungal, which you have to take. But 6 weeks out, I mean, it's like it's like a ServPro commercial. It never even happened.
Yeah.
I have a tiny cough still, but
yeah. Man, how have you seen the culture and the shift over the years too change? I mean, I know you've alluded to it a few times of what's gone on in the past, Chicago politics, Arizona politics. I mean, you own a business here, right? Your business is national, but I mean, like, what have been some of the biggest changes you've seen over the years?
Well, comparing Chicago to here,
or just in general, right? I mean, 2 decades into the business, you've seen definitely some shifts and changes over the years, right?
Yeah, well, we're national.
Yeah.
So, I don't really see a Chicago Phoenix change. You know, I mean, they're about the same, right? I mean, in what people need. I mean, there's more meth out here than there is in Chicago.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing I see in people between there and here is, I mean, I'm just going to be blunt. The people in Chicago are 10 times better. They're nicer and it's different.
Really?
Yeah, because in Chicago, it's like, and I think I've had this conversation with you. In Chicago, it's like there's a pride from being from there.
Like a bond.
Like if you're there, you're from there.
Yeah.
Here, you're not. Most people are from somewhere else. They ran here for a reason.
Yeah.
And there's no pride. I mean, you're the 5th largest city, and I think you've got the 17th biggest sport market. I mean, you just lost your hockey team. Like, nobody gives a shit.
Well, you're talking to a native here, so
listen, I've been to some games where you guys play Chicago, and I swear, if I just looked straight ahead, I was in Chicago.
I think for me, one of the funniest moments was when the Arizona Rattlers moved to the Glendale Arena. They're the arena football team. And the mayor put out a statement that said, "We're so happy to have Arizona's winningest sports team in Glendale now." And this is like, okay, that's the epitome of Arizona sports.
Yeah, nobody gives a shit.
Hey. I
mean,
do,
I mean,
man.
listen, and Chicago's always gonna be my home, and it's with the teams. But I do like, dude, I was going for the Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
I was pissed that the Suns didn't make it.
Yeah. So you got some Arizona pride developing.
No, just wanted the teams to win.
Okay.
You know, but it's like, and the people are different. You know, like in Chicago, you live in front of your house. It's all about your neighbors. You sit out front. Here we live in the backyard. You know, back there, it's nice out. Your windows are down. Here, everybody's windows are up. Oh, and people here drive like shit. I mean, Arizona did not get the memo that if you're going to do the speed limit or under, get out of the left lane.
Yeah.
And people here don't care. Like, it's just different. It's a West Coast mentality. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things that are better here, but the worst part about being here, I hate to say it, it's the people.
Wow. Gosh. Well, that's how we met. I mean, I feel like we're pretty close.
Listen, I'm not giving you an absolute.
I know.
I'm just saying everybody here is from somewhere else. Yeah. And it's just a different level of pride.
It's a transient, right? I mean,
it is.
When I tell people I'm a native here, they're almost like in shock. Like,
correct.
And I tell them I married a native, and it's even like crazier to think about.
Correct. So the people here are definitely different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're built different. That's right.
You mean me or you?
Me.
Okay. Yeah, you're a native. But I mean, I don't know a lot of Arizona natives, so I have nothing to compare it to. Yeah. And again, I'm sure there's a ton of Arizona natives, but it's just, my experience is that people here are just, it's not like being back home.
Yeah. Interesting.
It's more of a family and a community feeling back there, where here it just feels more, you're on your own.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you noticed any difference with the recent election? Has that affected your business at all? Or I mean, I know you've alluded to it a few times, of the different types of practices in healthcare, you know, the approach now versus what the therapists are taught now. I mean,
well, I think it's too soon to tell.
Okay.
I think it's too soon to tell. I mean, let's face it. The current administration sees how much money we're wasting on stuff that doesn't work.
Yeah.
And I've seen it for a long time.
Like what?
I mean, people aren't getting better.
Yeah.
You know, and the mental health and the addiction and all that stuff. It's like, you know, people, I mean, these insurance companies are getting billed billions of dollars for these treatment centers and these methodologies and these, you know, how does it make you feel approach that doesn't work.
Yeah.
And I am glad that this administration sees that.
Yeah.
You know, but it's too soon to tell.
Yeah.
But my morale's up.
Yeah. How so?
You know what? I don't want to get into politics too much. You know, my mom always said, don't ever talk about politics and religion, but let's just say that, you know, we were on the wrong track. You know, I mean, like, put it this way. If you send me an email and it's got pronouns, I delete it.
You just out.
Yeah. And, you know, it's interesting, you know, if a man transitions to a woman and that woman goes missing, and they find that body 100 years later, the headlines will say, body of male found.
Yeah.
Like, you can't change that shit.
Yeah.
Get off of it.
Yeah.
End of discussion.
I love it.
I mean, that's me.
Yeah.
Let's just go back to what worked.
Yeah.
That's my point. Let's go back to what worked. And we were just on the wrong track. And you know what?
Yeah.
I think the majority of Americans will not be offended by what I just said, because that's what they voted for. Yeah. They voted for that shit out of here, and they voted for other things. And our current administration's doing it, and the last two were clowns.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's my stance.
Hey.
Yeah. I mean, you know, and just to put it in perspective, like, even when I lived in Chicago, I didn't even, like, I'm a conservative.
Yeah.
My life wasn't worse with Obama.
Yeah.
When I graduated college, when Clinton was president, the economy was on fire. Like, I'm not opposed to Democratic leadership.
Yeah.
I'm opposed to where we were headed.
Yeah.
And we weren't headed there under those Democratic leaderships. Like, I was a Democrat for a large part of my life growing up in Chicago. Like I said, I didn't mind Obama.
Yeah.
I didn't mind Clinton at all. He was a brilliant man.
You see the trickle off, though, from the policies as it relates to the healthcare and what you guys. So you're seeing true boots on the ground evidence of, hey, this is how this policy has trickled down and affected. And so for you to say that, I mean, I think is impactful.
I mean, like Obamacare.
Yeah.
I liked President Obama. I know what I'm about to say was not his intention, so I don't want this to come off like I'm bashing the guy, because I liked him as president. I did. But Obamacare destroyed healthcare.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the way things were covered and what was covered and all that other stuff, like it really changed things. Like the amount of coverage I got for substance use and mental health prior to Obamacare was way different.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know the reasons why.
Did you take insurance before Obamacare?
Insurance covered a lot more treatment than it did.
So you had to transition to, like, was that the moment
we were
you had
always,
to transition to
well,
cash
we were always self-pay for intervention. But for treatment, I mean, most treatment plans covered substance use and mental health.
Yeah.
Today, it doesn't.
Yeah.
And if it does, it's restricted. And if it does, it's short term. And if it does, you know, insurance companies tell you what you should be doing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's not run by the professionals. The insurance company dictates what it is that you're going to do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So we try to do self-pay as much as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Anyway.
Well, the nitro's out. I guess, are we out? We good?
Yeah. What time is it?
Just kidding. I don't even know. No, it's always fun talking. I want to do this more, so.
Yeah, we'll do this more. I got a lot more stuff to say.
That's good. I want more stories.
There's a lot more story, like the Louis Vuitton sunglass Russian story.
Yeah.
Oh, I got tons of those.
Got those for days?
Yeah, we need to get that hot dog lady at the golf course.
Yeah.
Golf course. He stepped on the rake there too.
We'll have to have you on again. This was awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks for taking the time and for being such a great partner.
Yeah, we done, I guess.
Yeah, we're done.
Okay.